If I could start by introducing myself, I'm Patrick Jourdain. I'm president of the International Bridge Press Association. I do note that we regularly have press conferences, but this one seems to be more popular than many we've had in the past. Yesterday we had the press conference for the local press. This press conference is intended mainly for bridge speciality press. First of all, let me introduce the people at top table. In the far corner on my left is David Harris, legal counsel for the World Bridge Federation. And specifically, should anyone in this room attempt to raise any new topics that haven't been mentioned prior to this press conference in terms of allegations, then all those questions must go to David Harris. Then in the middle we have Jose Damiani, President Emeritus of the World Bridge Federation, and just to my left here, Gina Rigarona, President of the World Bridge Federation. I'm called the moderator of this event, and I'm only trying to control the order in which things happen.
Good afternoon, welcome. I want to say just a couple of words because the floor is yours, and so we are here just to answer to your question and the question that we received from from outside, from journalists and people outside. I can only say that the WBF officially published its statement about this matter, and what I want only to add now is that we are really sad and frustrated for the occurrences of the last days. Unfortunately, the tree producing the rotten apples will always fail, mirroring the worst part of the human nature. Despite all the efforts that we did and we want to continue to do, to try to rob, but we have to be all together. We have to be unit, to work together, players, officers, authorities, journalists, to try really, because the first thing that we want is to play true bridge, to play clean bridge, because we believe in our discipline, in our sport. And when I say bridge, of course, I am referring to bridge written in capital letters, the true bridge, the sport of bridge, bridge with culture, education, fair play, loyalty, integrity, respect of the rules, rejection of any discrimination. What we are promoting and we are successfully teaching to the youth, what to the school pupils, what attracts them to bridge. We had just 1 month ago a youth event in Croatia with more than 300,000 pupils, up to 20, more than 100 pupils of 12, 13, and it was a marvelous show. It was fantastic to watch them playing bridge in friendship, in serenity, respecting the rules. And this is what is our duty. And what is what we believe in. So we are ready as WBF to take all the decisions that we need to take, following our course, because we are a sport organization. We have to take care of the rules. We have to take care of the procedure. I believe that not only because I am a lawyer, and for many years I believe, and I still believe in this sentence, that if we want to be free, we need to be servant of the law. We need the law. We need to apply the law, because without the law, it's impossible to have a real justice. So, tolerance zero, but not witch hunt. Tolerance zero, but all the people, all the accused people, has the right to have a fair trial and a fair verdict. This is what we are thinking, what personally I am thinking, and believe me, for all my life, I fought against every behavior who is not according to the rules of the sport, and the bridge in particular. And for this reason, we have been able to break the tourists, or to say the word, the tourists of the school, this wall, and to enter in the school, to the youth, because the school operators discovered that in bridge there are a lot of value that can help the youth in this particular and delicate moment of their life, of their education. And for this reason we believe in this bridge, and we reject any other form of bridge, applying and following, of course, our rule and our procedure. Thank you.
Now, the next thing is for Mr. Rona. He has some questions that have already been asked, or would you, Mr. Damiani, like to make a short statement?
Thank you. Good afternoon. Good afternoon to all of you. What I want really to do tonight is to clarify one point which is, in my view, very, very important. I believe that for many years you know me, and you know that I was also among you players, champions. I was captain of many teams, and I believe that I know a little bit also the field, if I may say so. Even though now things and new players are coming in. Anyway, what is really terrible is that you are all good friends, but you came to me or you through internet or my phone call. I heard good luck for this press conference. What is good luck? We are all involved, and especially you, the players, because without you, we can't do anything. Let me say very clearly that when we are talking about cheating, who are the ones who can see at the table what is happening? You, not the one who are behind a desk at an executive council. You are very much involved. And that's the reason why we built some years ago a high-level player commission. That's very important. You have to take your own responsibility. And as a matter of fact, I must say that I agree that you did. You did. If today we are all here in this room, if in the past days we have all this information, is indeed thanks to some players, and by the way, some of them being part of the high-level player commission. And that's a good thing, that we understand that we are cooperating. What was the duty of the World Bridge Federation also, and that must be also for the NBOs, for the donor organization, is to promote the game and to use all the technology available. And I must say that along the years we made a lot of progress for that. And it's very interesting to see that today is thanks to the technology that we put in to promote our sport that we can also review every kind of what is happening at the table. That's very interesting. And there is a lot of technology coming in also about recording automatically. There are also, I must tell you, maybe some of yours know that there are already some software who can detect some kind of cheating, but nothing will replace what you, the player, observe at the table. And what you are entitled to do in that case. For instance, it's clear that in the rule, I believe that it's Rule 26, that you have to put the bidding card from the far left, and then after at the equal distance. If this is not respect, you want to call the director anytime? No. First, you are entitled to require gently your opponent to do it properly. And then, if you observe different things, your duty is maybe to fill a form and to give that to the director in order, and maybe to a representative of the high-level player commission, in order that investigations are made and not rumors. We can't deal anymore with rumors. We have to deal with facts, and with facts that technology allows today. And that I am very, very confident, and I really count on you for this job. And then the disciplinary commission will do the job. But first, as far as the investigation part is concerned, you, the players, you are the best, the well-placed to do that. Thank you. Later on, I will respond to any other question, but thank you for listening to that. Thank you very much.
Right, now I'm going to ask Mr. Rona to specify which questions he's already had in advance that he would like to answer. And I would ask you, please, Mr. Rona, to say what the question was, so that we don't repeat the same question from the floor later on. Mr. Rona. No, I have noticed.
Because if not, we have to read. Because if not.
All right, I can ask the questions. I've now been handed my first sight of the list. Question from Hanoi Rondon of Chile. Being Italian and the former president of the Italian Bridge Federation for many years, what personal feelings have the accusations of number 1 and 2 in the world produced in the WBF president?
But I believe that my personal feeling is not relevant for the two, number 1 and number 2. I know all these 6 players since they were children, because all of them start to play when they were juniors, so I know them since, I don't know, more than 30 years. Of course, I am deeply saddened by this accusation, for the accusation against all of them. But there is no problem. They can be Italian, they can be French, they can be what you want. If they will be judged as guilty, there is no tolerance. My idea is that we can accept everything, but if someone, whoever we will be, is out of the rules, he has to be out of our world.
Next question, which I'll shorten. Mr. Alavena of Monaco mentioned online that there appeared to be a pact of silence between bridge players and their national bridge organizations when it came to cheating. He asks, is the WBF aware of such matters, and when did it receive information about any cases that are currently under study? Should that information now be available to regional and world organizations?
This is I believe that my answer is pleonastic. Of course, we are not aware of any such pact. What means? Which kind of pact? What means that there is a lobby, there is a, I don't know what, to agree to have some reprehensible behavior covered by some agreement between federation, between players, between... For me, this is... what is important is that the WBF is the governing body. But you know that we have a pyramidal organizations who we have on the top, then there are the zonal organizations, then there are the national organizations. So what we can do, and we try to do, and we did in the past, just 1 year ago, 1 year and a half ago, that we can act immediately against someone who is responsible, who reprehensible behavior, and just to speak clearly, is responsible of cheating in our events, in events where we are in charge, in events where I apply our rule, in events where we award our title, our master point, and so on. For the rest, our duty is to control that both the zone and the MBOs apply the rule.
I believe that it's quite a shame to imagine that there is a pact in between National Federation and the World Bridge Federation. Instead, it's the opposite. It was the other way around. Sometimes the National Federation can't have disciplinary action against some players without a risk, a financial risk, and it happens in the ACBL in the past. And then the current thing is that the National Federation may ask the European Bridge League or the World Bridge Federation to consider not to invite the player in question. Remember that you are playing this tournament only by invitation. That means that if we do not want to invite somebody, we are entitled to do, and just that's it. And so it was really the other way around, not a pact to in favor of the cheaters, but really to throw them out.
Right, I'm now going to cut to the last question, but I'll come back to some of the earlier ones because I want new questions. From David Jackson of Ireland. This is the last question. To try and determine how far back this matter goes, I ask, does the WBF have any unreleased video of the bidding and play from previous World Championships? For instance, does the video exist from as far back as, say, 2005? When some of the named players were on the William Bermuda Bowl side, and from 2007 when they won the gold medal in Shanghai. So the question is, have you any unreleased videos that can be made open to the public?
This is not so easy for me to answer to the question because it's possible that there is some. Of course, at the time there were not. I don't believe that there. Yes. For the time being, I believe that we had some experience about some experience that we try when we start to introduce, because we start to introduce when Jose say that the WBF started. We started, I remember, in '92. In the Olympiad of Sassomagiore, when we put a camera on 16 tables, but it was an experience. Probably this material, I don't know when it's finished. So it's possible that also here we have probably something registered from the view graph, but not the camera like it is, that you can connect the camera with the play. So today there is a system that is very easy to connect the table with the cards and the camera and the players, so you can they can, is an interaction, okay? You can understand. Probably for this championship can be some film about the bridge drama, about the biograph. I don't know, probably in 2000, something from BBO, but
At every World Championship, you may remember that we have had the bridge drama, the bridge vision, like we call it. And as a matter of fact, I want to remind some of you that, for instance, in 2003 in Monaco, when at the last board, really, the title was decided, the video helped a lot to see exactly the action. And that's the reason why I was saying that we are not only here to use technology for promotion, but also for any kind of thing happening at the bridge table. And we have a lot of video and very interesting things.
We are now halfway through our time, so I'm going to invite a question from the floor. Please make it a question only. Give your name. Jan Swan will give you a microphone. We'll start with somebody who has legal expertise, Mr. David Stern of Australia.
The one thing that hasn't been discussed, the one thing that hasn't been discussed is how this all came about, the crowdsourcing, Brogel putting together all the dossiers and everything. What's either the WBF's view and or your own personal view about how this happened and whether it can and should happen this way in the future?
Thank you, David. Thank you so much. You are a friend, really. We go back to 2003? Okay. No, of course. You know that it should very easy to say, for me to say no comment, but I don't want to say no comment. But you know that in this case I am here not as Enrico Rona, a bridge player also, a very low bridge player. So, but I am here in my institutional position of WBF. What I can say about what happened. I clearly explained before, I don't accept. I don't accept. Personally, I am not able to understand how it's possible to cheat. For me, it's like if you decide to have Tyson against a child of 5 years, which is but this is my personal opinion. It's not easy. It's not easy because it's impossible to say that just starting from 1 month ago the people start to cheat. In the life, in our society, I think we have a situation where the behavior are not reprehensible or not reprehensible. What we can do? We try to do, Jose explained, I explained. We try to starting with the table. You remember that when we started to play 50 years ago, we play with the score, with the pencil, then we introduce the screen, then we introduce the electronic devices, then we introduce the camera, then we introduce everything. And in addition, we try to have every day new technical devices to discover something new, to discover if it's possible to find how someone can cheat. But step by step, because you know, if you consider, I read in many times that we can consider cheating like doping. Cheating is the ethical doping. But you know that when sometime we discover the dope, they are 10, 15 years in advance. Also the rule is not so easy to put the rule. Up to 20 years ago, for example, it was admitted to use the hemotransfusion. Then, a certain day, the doctor say, from now on, it's forbidden. So, it means that up to today, it was possible to cheat, from tomorrow, it's impossible. Then they decided, for example, that the beta blockers were prohibited. Now they are admitted. So what means that? So it's very difficult to find, and you can imagine that in doping you have the proof, the evidence that you cannot say is not an evidence. You can imagine in bridge where sometimes really it's very difficult to have the proof. What we can do? You have already said. I believe that it's impossible to constitute, because also I read, I don't know if it's John here, excuse me, see, I am a little bit long in this point, but it's important. John, where is John Caruthas? Oh, excuse me.
And I would like to ask you a question.
No, but because I read, excuse me, I want to finish here. It's interesting that you suggested, and other person suggested to create an international body like water to do something, but we have to be careful because water just drives the rule. Water is not an operative body. Water writes the rule saying if you are doped on the first occasion you have 4 years of suspension, in the second you are banned, you are doped if you use these substances, but the tests are done by authorized laboratories, and the hearing are made in the national tribunal. Each tribunal, water does not have judge, does not have anything. This is water. In bridge, what we can do? The idea to have a group of expert people deputed to investigate about it can be a good idea. But we have to be practice also. We have to study the project. We have to say if it's possible to realize the project, if it's possible to find the right people, because you know that we can do it, but who are the right people to do? It's impossible to, for example, to put in this committee the champions who are playing professionally. So we have to find the right person, great bridge player, great champion, but not involved in the active play, because this, if not, of course, there can be a conflict. So the idea we will put on the table, probably, not to have someone who can go where he wants to say I am there, and to check. No, to have a group of persons to whom we can send periodically what we register from the table and so on, and then have the duty to check and to suggest to us if there is something not, in this case, we give all this to our disciplinary committee, and the disciplinary will decide if there is cheating or there is cheating. So we probably can do. Another thing that we can do for sure is to say that, in fact, we already met our with lawyer, the Olympic Committee lawyer, and so on, and we have the authorization to say, okay, if there is cheating everywhere in the world, the sanction is this for the first, the sanction is this for the second, and all the MBOs, all the part of the body of the WBA have to follow this. This we can do. And if they don't do, the door is there, the door is big, and they can go.
Now then, for those of you who are not members of IBPA, that was a reaction to last month's editorial from John Carruthers of Canada. I'll now take Mr. Zia Mahmood from possibly USA or other countries.
Hi, my question is slightly a trick question. My question is, would you mind if I give you my view as to the situation?
No views, questions only.
May I mind if I give you what I suggest as a possible solution? We are all here saddened. Rona said, we're saddened. He's right. We're not only saddened, I'm heartbroken. My children come to me and tell me, Dad, my friends say that bridge is a cheating game. What do you say? I go to the golf club and they say, what has happened to this game of honor? It was like golf. My heart is broken. I want to, if possible, suggest what I think may be a solution, which would be, because we all want the same thing. I totally understand and appreciate that all the organizations here have only one interest: to make the game the greatest game it can be, and the players perhaps more. And I agree with Mr. Rona that it is only the players who can discover who cheats, because if a person of my level is to cheat, only I can look at the card he plays and says this was not a genuine card. Nobody else can do it. And how do we stop what is happening? Whether these people have cheated, I don't care. Whether anybody cheats, how do we stop it? And I think we have found the answer. I think what you said first is you have a panel of top experts on a website which is open to the public, where the players we've talked about have for years been rumored against, but somehow the actions that have been taken because it was too difficult previously. Now it's not too difficult. Now let the panel sit on a website, let the world send them hands, send them information, anonymously or not, and let there be videos of every match that's played. If you take a video of me when I play, I'm thrilled. I want the world to see how I play. And everybody should be thrilled. And let those videos be open. We will see the videos, we will inspect, and anybody who is not proper on those videos will be caught in front of us. And if somebody debases my family or my daughter or my son, I don't forgive them. I'll never let them come in my house again or in the world where I live again. I will throw them out forever. And you will do, I think. Thank you.
All right. Do you want to react to that?
Yes, thank you, Zia, but it's exactly what I suggested just before, by the way. And you said that in a pleasant way, because it's a modern way that everybody loves, of course. I just want to remind again, however, that there is this commission of high-level players, and this is very important because you are supposed to elect that people which are for sure experts, because they are only grandmaster. This is in the rule. And one woman and one man, and one alternate for each also. And that's very important, and you can have a dialogue also with these people, with this. This is the link in between the players and the WBF, and that's important. We may create whatever we want, but at least we should know, you should know what does exist and use it.
Okay, thank you. I have a question from Mr. Jan van Kleef of the Netherlands.
Yes, I represent NRC Handelsblad, New in Bridge, and Bridge Magazine Imp. And I have a short question. Is the registration for the Bermuda Bowl completely closed by now, or are there some one or two changes to be expected?
I think our legal counsel should take that question.
I think the problem with the way in which some of these things have come out is that there's rife speculation, and that's never a great way to try and deal with things. Many people have been accused who have not had the opportunity to have their case examined or even answer the questions that are being asked of them. I, for one, will ensure that the WBF will make sure that there is a proper process that we follow. It's important that we follow such a process. It's important that anyone accused of the worst imaginable crime in bridge, of cheating, that they're dealt with in a proper way. Now, the question that Jan asked is about the Bermuda Bowl, again, as part of further speculation. What I can tell you is this: there are proper processes within the organisation of the WBF that consider these matters as appropriate. They take decisions that they think are right and proper, based upon a set of rules that we try to follow. They will continue to do that during the course of these championships, and if things change as a result of that, it will only be after a proper process, not because there's a clamour by some people on the internet saying we think those people might be cheating. And I will just add this: within this huge speculation, all those accused on the various websites and within social media have not had the opportunity to say anything about it yet. There's not been a proper process by which there's been any gathering of evidence in a way which would be admissible within the way in which we need to deal with it. And so even though some people have withdrawn, and possibly others may withdraw for whatever reason, we should be slow to speculate as to the reason for that. No one should be found guilty of a crime until they've gone through a proper process. And that is something which I and the WBF will make sure takes place. So you might think that's ducking out, but we will deal with things in an appropriate manner. Thank you.
Okay, next question, Mr. Australia. Again, Mr. Ron Klinger.
I'm not sure whether to address this to Mr. Rona, to Mr. Damiani or to Mr. Harris, but the question is, once a player does report suspicious circumstances, what is the process that takes place in the WBF? I reported suspicious action by a pair in 2013 to the WBF recorder, and what happens after that? Is the pair investigated? I heard nothing further. I would think that the WBF would let the player who did report suspicious actions say that there was insufficient evidence, or the WF is taking some action. What actually is the process that the WF, you put the responsibility on the players, so we do take action, but we hear nothing further. What does happen?
I don't know. In 2013, in Bali, you reported about something happened to the TD. Okay, I am very happy to know. If you will probably give me the data of this information, it's possible that someone can fly home immediately, because the procedure is very clear. If there is a suspicion of behavior, we are not speaking of just of behavior, the TD is mandatory for them to inform immediately the disciplinary person in charge, and the disciplinary person in charge can start immediately with a short investigation, if this is a simple problem, or to start with the procedure. It was the same that happened for the now well-known case of the German doctors. Someone sent a report, immediately the machine starts, and we act immediately. If the tournament director did not present this report, of course, is his responsibility, and for me, is a person that can stop to stay with us and to continue to be a tournament director. It's mandatory for the tournament director to present the report. If they don't do, of course.
It was not a tournament director, it was the WBF recorder that I reported it to.
No,
It was a WBF official.
The WBF recorder is not an official. The WBF recorder is an operator, and many of them don't know who is bridge. Recorder means the people who work with the... No,
I was directed by a tournament director to see a WBF official and report the matter. I went to see that WBF official and gave him the details. He was a WBF official, not a recorder of hands, not a director.
Of course, if you remember, I will be very pleased to have the data of this fact, because we assure you that we did not have any information, and probably the tournament director did not have this information, and the championship manager did not have this information, because for sure, if we have this information, we start immediately with our process. The procedure is very simple. When a complaint is presented, immediately start an action. The prosecutor investigates, is supported by, if needed, by experts, players. If at the end he is convinced that there is a responsibility, he will ask for the hearing. The hearing means that the panel composed by the judge, I don't know what, expert and so on, start with the trial. The trial will have a verdict. This is what happens usually. I don't know what happened, but this is very, please, if you have many other information, I will be pleased to receive, because we cannot accept this kind, because if we cannot accept the behavior, not correct of the players, we cannot accept that some of our official operators, official staff, don't follow and don't respect the rule. This is out of any, for me, it's really.
Can I, on behalf of Mr. Klinger, add that there was another question, which is if a player reports something that he's suspicious about, is he entitled to a response later to know whether or not his complaint has been investigated? So the question is, if he gets no response from the WBF or the zonal organisation, what is he entitled then to do? Should he ask? Should he have a time limit, 6 months? If he hasn't heard anything, he goes to somebody else. So the question from Mr. Klinger was, is he entitled to a response? No, and if he doesn't get a response, I think was the question, what should he do? Okay. Sorry.
I don't know if you send a following request to the WBF or not.
I didn't.
Because
no, I heard nothing.
Because if we, no, I don't say, we say we, because if we receive some complaint of this nature, we immediately act. So it's impossible that someone write to the WBF about a problem happening and so on, and he will not receive an answer. I believe that it's impossible that the WBF does not answer. But everything is possible in the life. But?
All right, we'll take a question right from the back. I don't know the gentleman. Thank you. The one standing up, I believe he must be from the Norwegian Bridge Federation.
I don't think Norway's here yet, but I would like to follow up on Ron Klinger's question, if possible. The current model of inquiring into players' ethics involves players reporting to their NBOs, reporting to the zones or NBOs who organised the events, reporting to the WBF. Ron Klinger's experience shows that info is not reaching the WBF. In these 3 cases, hundreds, even thousands of man-hours have been involved in documenting evidence. Does the WBF have plans to simplify and make more efficient and transparent the process of us players inquiring into the ethics of a peer's behaviour? Thanks.
Yes, I believe that I really understand the question. And again, you must accept also that the WBF is not legally entitled to interfere with the inside the national organization. So the process is not only that come from the NBO through a zonal and then to the WBF. I suggest, really, frankly speaking, that again the player should be the one, and this commission should be the one involved. That means that forget the NBO, but this commission can take really any case and investigate. Because again, I want to precise also that This commission is composed about 12 people, no? About 12 people, but or 14 even. But and you again, you have to elect them. But 2 of them are permanent members of the executive committee of the WBF. Unfortunately, I must say that they did not show up. But after this, today, I hope that your representative, again, 1 woman and 1 man, will alternate in order that if she or he is in the championship, maybe another one can come to the meeting. But this, I suggest, that must be the way, because as it happened, as a matter of fact, there are people in this high-level player commission who study everything with Boy Brogland. I mean, I can give the name. I saw that on internet, but there are 3 Americans, 1 Australian, and people. They are already in this commission, so we can have this kind of process. And the best again is that the players take responsibility.
Also about this problem of the MBOs and the justice in the MBOs, there is a principle of reciprocity. Usually, when an MBOs takes a decision to sanction some player, the MBOs send this information to the zone, and the zone forward to all the other federations this information, and automatically this player cannot play bridge everywhere. This is of course, if the federation does not inform, we cannot do anything, but usually we also as WBF receive from the secretary of the federation, from the secretary of the zone, the information that a player or more players are suspended, and automatically we inform all the other federations. This is the way that usually we follow.
Right, I'm afraid we have time for only 1 more question, and the gentleman with the hand up, Mr. Simon Cope of England.
Good afternoon. The question I'd like to ask is that I think that many of us here have probably heard some more rumours about some further pairs, further to the ones that we already know about, and some of us have also heard that some evidence has been sent to the World Bridge Federation and the EBL. On that basis, are you able to confirm whether or not this is indeed the case? And if it is the case, are we entitled to know who the pairs in question are?
Well, the answer is that yes, there is evidence that's provided to the WBF, and that goes through a process of being considered, and there are various committees that look at that and determine whether or not it should have any effect so far as these championships are concerned. You're not entitled to know whether or not there are particular pairs that concerns, other than the relevant committees of the WBF will deal with it, and if that results in some pairs or teams not playing this competition, that will be the subject of a release. But I'll say this so that you understand. Obviously, these things are happening fairly rapidly. It would be quite wrong to notify the public at large before the individuals concerned have been made aware of what the situation is. So, yes, the WBF will deal with matters as appropriate and ensure that this is a Bermuda Bowl that runs sensibly. Thank you.
Okay, I'm afraid that ends the questions. I've been told we must stop at 5 o'clock. Have we time for 1 more? Okay, we have time for 1 more. Mr. Roy Welland of Germany.
Just a follow-up from what Simon was asking, and with regard to the current evidence that has been submitted to the WBF. I understand it's a difficult process for the WBF to prosecute anybody based upon some rumors that they heard. But is the WBF willing to, should the evidence that has already been submitted to the WBF later found to have been compelling enough to convict the pair, or pairs, and the NBO failed to take any action on that. Is the WBF prepared to take action against the NBO themselves, which I think should be a consideration of future policy? Because it's one thing, you have said only the players can find, other players who are guilty, but then you also say that, it has to be submitted to the committee to determine guilt. But I think you have to involve the NBOs themselves and hold them accountable. I know this sounds hypocritical, but, to hold them accountable for some responsibility for putting forth players that they have reason to believe might be guilty. So if that evidence that you have been given is found to have been compelling enough so that people would agree that that pair should have been withdrawn, will the NBO themselves be sanctioned?
Okay, but it's very clear. It's very clear. It's very clear. It's very clear. It's very clear what happened. I already said, the NBO has to sanction. They have to act against the cheaters. If they don't do, of course we have to know also. If they don't do, of course, they are responsible toward the WBF, because the rule is clear. The rules are very clear. All the NBO have to follow the rule. If the NBO don't follow the rule, of course the WBF has the power to go against the NBOs, of course, not against the players, because the NBO has to apply the rule. Another thing is if the judge of the NBO declare, state that the person is not guilty, of course, this is justice. The justice can say guilty or not guilty and so on, but they have to act. If they don't act, and it's clear that there are cheaters, the WBF can suspend the NBO, can act against the NBO, but this is clear. And it happened in the past, also when we did not have the disciplinary code. The disciplinary code has been introduced 3-4 years ago. Before, the WBF, the BL did not have any power, except the credential committee, who could not invite or invite. Before, the famous appeal committee could suspend for the moment the pair, and then they send to the national federation to take the decision. Now, we introduce the new law that in our event we have the power also to add the players, not only the. So this is one step. Now we will try to improve a little bit again. But for sure, it's our duty to control. Of course, also, if some federation is cheating and they try to cover everything, it's not easy to do, but this is our duty. I hope. But if we want to beat this terrible illness, we have to work together. We have to be confident between us. We have to be confident, the player has to be confident that if the body are informed, the body will act. And we will take care of all the information that we receive. Of course, the rumors are rumors. Rumors are rumors. It's impossible concerning the rumor to do something. It's enough to send, just not to say someone is cheating. It's enough to send something written, say something is not clear for me, please check. So you don't have the responsibility to accuse openly someone if you are not sure. But it's possible that there is some situation and it's your right, but in my opinion it's also your duty to send this information. Because we want to continue to consider our sport a fantastic sport, a clean sport, a true sport. Respect, we use the term respect not only for doping. You know that how the federation use respect for doping. Respect also for cheating. That is our ethical doping. I want to thank you because really we are confident that to receive from you. Of course, if you want to contact directly the WBF, the ABL, your zone, your federation, I believe that is better because we can act faster and we can do really something of positive. In any case, just to close, I want to thank you, but I want to remember you that today we are here to celebrate a great bridge event. For the moment, we have to think that tomorrow we start with our championship. This is the main event. We have to show that we really love bridge. We really believe in bridge, in real bridge, in bridge in capital letters. And also because our host deserve that this will be a great event, because they work a lot, they did a fantastic job. For the first time they host this event, and I believe that we are obliged, it's mandatory for us all together to reward their effort and to enjoy all together this event, apart all the situation that in this day can create many problems. Thank you and enjoy your stay.
Okay, well, I can add to that there are no more questions now. There will be another press conference later in the event. But I think we certainly should thank the three people who have come to face you and answer your questions. So thank you very much, the three of them. The meeting is now closed. Don't forget the captain's meeting started 5 minutes ago, and the IBP executive meets in quarter of an hour's time downstairs.